drive, and pretending interest in the latest Hollywood news and gossip. Scoring an invitation and getting seen at parties of the rich and swanky was part of the business. Flashing a smile for photographers and having her picture taken on the arm of men like Christian Forsythe was good for Vivian's career, no matter that he was the most boring man to walk upright, and she had no romantic interest in him at all. 12 hours ago, her life had been about the right film roles and spending time with the right people. 12 hours ago, she'd been playing the part of glamorous Vivian Leigh Rochet, actress, movie star, hot shit. Roll camera. Sarah's sudden appearance at the party should have tipped Vivian off that something was wrong, but she'd had a few too many cocktails on an empty stomach to give it a thought. If she hadn't been intoxicated, she might have noticed the worry in her assistant's blue eyes. She might have had a little forewarning before Sarah stepped close and whispered the impossible in her ear. Her mama was dead. 12 hours later, Vivian didn't know any real details. She'd been told the paramedics had tried to revive her at home, but that she'd died on her way to the emergency room. Her death appeared to be natural. Natural? Nothing that had happened in the past 12 hours felt natural, and Vivian could hardly breathe past the pain and guilt slashing her heart. "I guess it sells more than the usual anorexic stories," said Vivian. Macy Jane Rochet was dead, and fake stories in gossip papers seemed so trivial, so stupid. There had been a time when no one had cared enough about Vivian Rochet to print her name, let alone make up entire stories about her. A time when she would have killed to get a mention in the tabloids and to see photos of herself splattered across magazine covers. Her mother was dead, and Vivian's life suddenly seemed stupid and trivial, and completely empty now. Before Sarah's sudden appearance last night, everything in Vivian's life had been so clear, so charted. She was a bright star blazing a trail toward mega-stardom. Now it was blurred, and her head was congested with pain and caffeine and booze. She could hardly think past her raw emotions, and so much had happened in the past 12 hours, she wasn't even sure if it was Sunday or Monday. It had to be Sunday. Maybe. "What day is it?" Without looking up, Sarah answered, "June 6th. Vivian reached into a red Kelly bag and pulled out a pair of sunglasses. She slid the black frames on her face and leaned her head back. That didn't really answer her question, but it had to be Sunday. She'd been at the party on Saturday night. Had that been just last night? It seemed like more time had passed since when she'd learned about her mama. Her mother had been kind and loving, delicate and beautiful. She'd also been difficult and exhausting, and if truth be told, sometimes crazy as a Bessie bug. She'd certainly embarrassed Vivian more times than she could count, with her erratic highs and lows, her overblown elation one day and her utter despair the next, her huge dreams of a happily ever after and difficulty with men. The earth beneath her feet ebbed like the tides, changeable, predictable, and leaving those around her restless and worn out at the same time. But even when she'd been at her most difficult, she hadn't been difficult to love. Not for Vivian. Because no matter the highs and lows and instability, she'd always known that her mother loved her as no one else on the planet loved her. No judgments, no expectations, just warm and generous love from her wide-open heart. Macy Jane hadn't been perfect, but she'd done her best to take care of Vivian. When she'd fallen short, Vivian's Mama Roz stepped in. After Mama Roz died, Vivian took care of herself. She took care of her mama, too. It had been the two of them against the world. Together. Always. The Escalade took one of the last exits and headed into the heart of the holy city.